Say good morning, Holiday. Good morning. Yeah. It's going to be a great day, isn't it? Good morning, everybody. So it's about 6:30 in the morning, and my husband just left to work like not that long ago. I am getting ready to make me some coffee in my Mom Boss mug. Got my little $2 coffee that I got on clearance. It's gonna be a busy morning. It's raining outside, so it sucks, but I have to take care of this and take Jocelyn to go get her lab work done. She has a doctor's appointment next week, but we usually have to do her lab work the week before. And for those who do not know, and of course you guys know that I had thyroid problems, and I had my surgery done about 15 years ago. Here's my little scar. So unfortunately, because I had Graves disease, I passed that along to my daughter. So now for about 2 years now, she has been battling this disease. And in the beginning, it was very rocky. We had to go see the cardiologist quite often. She had many tests done. Of course, they did the EKG. They did an echocardiogram, and I'm going to show pictures of that. She also had to wear a Holter monitor for a week because we wanted to make sure, because we were struggling with maintaining her heart rate. So the doctor has her on methimazole, which is the medication for thyroid. It's usually two. It's methimazole or PTU, but PTU is more for like adults, and methimazole is more for pediatrics. So she was on methimazole, and then she was also on propranolol, which is a medication that helps lower the heart rate, because we could not get her heart rate under control in the beginning, and that's why we had to go see the cardiologist a couple of times just to make sure that her heart was strong enough to tolerate all of this excess hormones that that her thyroid was producing. So luckily it took a little bit, but we were finally able to get it under control. And so the doctor discontinued her on propranolol. She's still on methimazole. Fingers crossed when we see her next week that she will take her off. She doesn't want to say that she's in remission yet until probably at this visit is when she's gonna go ahead and see, depending on the lab work. And if everything's good, then we're gonna go ahead and take her off of methimazole. The endocrinologist wanted to wait until Jocelyn was, at home in summer, so that way if for some reason, her disease popped back and she was right back at Graves disease, then and right back at hyperthyroidism, then she'll go ahead and get her back on methimazole. But we're gonna try it, and like I said, hopefully with prayers and fingers crossed and all that good stuff, that she is gonna be in remission. So yeah, we're gonna go take a trip to the lab, get her lab work done, and then I'm gonna get ready to wake her up in about an hour. I'm gonna let her sleep in until about 7:30. We're gonna head out to go get lab work done, and then I'm gonna also have her talk to you guys, get like her perspective, because for me, when I had Graves disease, it was horrible. I mean, I got sick really fast, and I pretty much went downhill fast. That was why I had surgery for this total thyroidectomy while I was pregnant with my second oldest, because I was on a verge of a thyroid storm. My kidneys were starting to shut down, my liver was starting to shut down. So it was just a really bad time when I had this disease. And I know, for me, it was very hard. It was a very hard disease on me, on my body physically. And I want you guys to kind of get a perspective of what she went through. But for me, it was just more like, I was constantly hungry. Yeah, I was constantly hungry, and I was like this skinny, but that was, all that aside, I was really, really sick. Like I would like overheat so fast and so bad that I would literally almost pass out. Mind you, I'm like pregnant at that time, and my poor mom and my poor husband, they had to, help me. There was one. I remember this one incident when I was at Dollar Tree, and I felt fine. I was fine, and I was with my husband and with my mom, and we were walking around the aisles looking at stuff, and then all of a sudden I just felt like a heat wave, and I started shaking, and then I started sweating, and then everything started like closing in on me, like it was like getting dark, and my husband was like freaking out because I damn near fell and fainted in the middle of the aisle. So he had to literally not carry me out, but like pretty much I was like, having to put my arms around him, and he had to like help me out of the store fast. And my mom was panicking, and they had to get me into the car, have the fan blowing just so that I can get air on me, because I was just drenched in sweat, and it just hit me. And that was like one of those moments that I will never forget, of what I went through. But it's a very hard disease, especially when you get it so sudden, and it starts affecting all your other organs and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm gonna get some coffee started, and I'm gonna make my bed, and I'm gonna wake up Jocelyn in a bit, and then we're gonna head off, and we're gonna go get some lab work done, and we're gonna chit chat with her. So let me get this coffee brewing, because mama needs some caffeine in her ASAP. Finished making my bed. Jocelyn's ready to go. Coffee in hand. Weather is nasty, but we gotta go and get this lab work done. So let's head on out. So we just finished, and she said her arm is hurting because we're guessing that the phlebotomist was new because she was using like a butterfly needle, and usually we have like two specific phlebotomists that we've always seen for like the past 2 years. They're really, really good. 5 minutes, if that, not even 5 minutes, within what, like a minute or two, they have it in and out. And they don't ever use butterflies. They just use the normal standard needles that they, draw on adults and stuff. And then what were you saying that she was doing?
She kept stabbing my arm.
You felt her?
She was like, with the needle in my arm, and that stuff hurts. Like, that never happened. Like, they never dig in my arm. But, like, she was like, kept taking the needle out, putting it back in, and just, like, trying to find the vein. And, like, she was, like, twisting, like...
Yeah, she was fishing. Yeah.
That stuff hurts. This is the first time that ever hurts. Cause, like, usually,
and you've been doing it for how many years? 2 years. And that was the first time it hurt you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do...
Not even the first time was bad. Like, this time was worse.
Yeah, really? So we're going to do some questions, okay? So, did you ever felt like you were sick?
No.
Okay.
I was just tired.
You were just tired? So you never felt like you were, like
I was hot, which made me shaky when I got up in the mornings. And I would always be hot, and I always wear shorts because of that. That's why I barely wear it. And, like, I didn't know I was getting sick, but you obviously knew something was up because she found out.
Yeah.
She's like, we need to take you.
Yeah.
Like, something's wrong.
Okay, so real quick, for me, what like gave me the hints was your eyes changed. Like, your eyes changed. They were starting to bulge a little bit. And that's when I knew. Like, I knew something was wrong. And that's when I took you to the doctor and I said, hey, I think she has Graves. I think she has hyperthyroidism. Her eyes looks a little... Her eyes are changing on me. They look different. Like, as a mother, like, the facial features of all your children. And when things are changing, like, you can you notice that. Like, for me, I noticed that. And it's funny because I knew something was wrong. And with Elizabeth, I knew something was wrong when she was born. And I never mentioned this at all. This is going to be like the first time I actually mentioned this. But Elizabeth, she was born with a congenital cataract in one eye. And that's why she wears glasses, because she has a lens implant. And for Elizabeth, when she was like newborn, I remember this specifically, and it was like as if it happened yesterday. It was so vivid. I remember after we had her, and she was jaundiced, and because she was born right at 36, she was like borderline preemie, but we were able to take her home, and we knew she had jaundice. And I remember I was sitting on the couch, and I had my legs propped, and she was laying on my lap with my legs propped up, and I was sitting right by a window, and I had the window curtains open, blinds open, so she can get sunshine. And I remember I was looking at her eye, and I saw, like, on her eye, I saw like no, it wasn't greenish, it was like an opal right on her pupil. I saw something like an opal color, and I was like, that's weird, that doesn't look right. So I mentioned it to her pediatrician, and sure enough, her pediatrician's like, yeah, she's gonna need to go see a pediatric ophthalmologist. And after going to like 3 ophthalmologists, because they diagnosed her with congenital cataract, and they couldn't handle her case, they were like, she needs to go to Baylor. And that's where I ended up having to take her to Baylor College of Medicine and Texas Children's, and that's where she ended up getting her treatment. But I'll talk about Lizzy on another video. Now, this one, like I said, with my kids, I knew something was wrong. I just knew it. Like, her eyes were changing, and it just, nothing else was noticeable, but it was just her eyes. That was like the telltale signs for me. And when I told her pediatrician, she was like, okay, well, because they know my history. They knew that I had Graves' disease. They knew that I had surgery when I was pregnant with my second child. So they know that the risk of, after having all my kids, there was a chance of me passing it along to them. So sure enough, I don't even think it was like a full day. Like the next day, early in the morning, right? I think it was like the next day, early in the morning, I get a call. I get a call from her doctor saying, yes, it's bad. She needs to go see an endocrinologist. And they work behind the scenes and literally got me an appointment that same day. So it was like, I can't remember what day of the week it was, but it was like, let's just say hypothetically it was like a Monday or whatever. And like Tuesday, they called me like, hey, she needs to be seen ASAP because she has Graves' disease. It's hyper. And within that afternoon, the next day, we were already seeing endocrinologist, right? And she's been with her endocrinologist for 2 years now. So fingers crossed that these lab work comes out awesome and we can take her completely off her meds, so that way she can, you know, be normal again, right? Are you looking forward to that? Hopefully soon, next week, we'll find out if we can get you off your meds. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go home because it's raining. And yeah, but I just wanted to take you guys along with me and just, you know, share our story about my Graves' disease and her Graves' disease, and just take you guys along with us while we get this lab work done. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. I will be back with another video soon. Talk to y'all later. Bye.